G'day, I'm Matt from Unwise Performance Parts, and while the Kingswood's away at Wheels, I thought it was time to fit a winch to the trailer. So after pushing the Kingswood up onto the trailer, I went and bought myself a Kings Domin8r 1200 pound winch. It's $300 on a Boxing Day sale, so let's get it fitted. So I went and got myself some 30 by 5. That was 2 meters long, but I've cut into like 150 strips, so I've got 4 of those. So I'm just marking them out, so then I can drill the holes 114 apart. And then my plan is, so I get rid of 2 of these, to sandwich them together. So the bolt goes into the winch, through this plate, through that plate into there, and then have some spacer tubes in between. Kind of like this, and then I'm hoping to just mount the winch on this main beam across here. I'll have to cut that center out and have the fair lead go through. And yeah, hopefully I don't have to push the Kingswood onto the trailer again. So I just marked out and drilled one, and then just held it together with the others and drilled the other holes, and then measured them before drilling all the way through. They seem to be the same. Alright, so that's all 4 drilled. Let's test it. Alright, so I've got my Kings winch, 4 brackets, and a couple of 100mm bolts. These are going to be way too long because these bottom out, but it's just to make sure that I actually put the holes in the right locations. Alright, so it looks like it's going to work just as I planned. So the reason I've had to put these plates on the inside here is because it's not actually like a solid unit down in there. So it just needs a flat face to help support it. But yeah, so I'll just have to shorten these bolts up and make the spaces. Alright, just got to work out the length of the bolts. So they bottom out, so I've got 30mm, 2 plates at 5 each, so that's another 10, so that's 40mm. And then this bad boy is 50mm. So I just got to take 10mm out of these. My 4 brackets, I've got 4 spaces and 90-ish mil bolts. Alright, that looks like it's going to work just as planned. Tight. Right, now I've just got to take this centerpiece out. So I can put the fair lead in here. So to do that, I'm going to have to put 2 of these in here. And then I'm thinking of just having a little tab off each side, because this distance is the same distance as the bolts. So just a tab off each side so that it can sit just above it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the length of the trailer. I'm going to mark the center, and then I'm going to measure outwards from there, just so the posts are just on the outside of this. And then we're going to make a little tab. We're going to bolt that to that, and then I'll cut this center out. Alright, so I've just made the center mark, and then I've measured out, so that's 300 wide, so I've done 150 each side. But what I'll do is I'll make the post, I'll weld the tabs on them, I'll bolt them to this, and then we'll center this before we weld them in, just to make sure it's right. Alright, so I've cut them so that they're really snug in there, so I'll have to bash them with a hammer before I weld them on. And I'm just going to cut these into 30 by 30. I'm going to weld it right at the top to give me that space for the bolt to go under, and then we should be able to bolt it on. Alright, so there's the 10mm holes in them, so I'll just weld them to that bracket, bolt them to the fair lead, and then weld them to the trailer. Alright, so I've put some boogers on the brackets. Not that you can really see because of the light. It's mounted to the trailer. When you go through all that and you realise you made two exactly the same, but one has to be the opposite. Alright, back to where we were 20 minutes ago. Now we have two, the opposite. So I'm just going to lightly drop the fair lead to these. So that's them in place. So what I'll do is I'm just going to chuck the winch in, just to obviously make sure. We'll double check our centers. I think it needs to obviously go that way a little bit. And it works just as planned. So we've got our stays offset so our bolts can go past, with our little tabs for the fair lead to go onto. The fair lead goes under the bar. Obviously this one needs to be chopped out. And everything clears. Bloody beauty. I'll just quickly bang a couple of tacks on the stays, and then I'll be able to pull it all back apart. Cut this out, weld it in, paint everything, and call it done. bit of a nightmare. It's really ugly, but I don't see them going anywhere. She's really ugly, but we'll just paint her black. Call it done. Alright, I've just given it one of the quickest and ugliest paint jobs I've ever done in my life. It's actually still wet. Alright, so that's that part done. Now I've got to wire it up. So this is the control box. Thinking about just banging in some self-tappers there, running the wiring to there. See how that looks. We have to do the wiring. So this is relatively simple. So you've got red here, got yellow, and you have black. Then you have another black cable. So this one runs to the back with this skinny cable. And she's on. So obviously these cables are for the battery. Nice little cable separator. Alright, so I've just got myself a pretty standard car battery. Just some wing nut terminals to go on. And we'll just bang these on here and give it a test run. So your power lead comes with this isolator. It's currently off, but we'll turn it on and test out the winch. Last thing to do is to put the hook on. I'll just pull it out. We've got our hook. A little D-shuffle goes through there. Have this pin. And you got a little roll pin in your bag. I thought if I use a pair of pliers, at least it's nice and soft blows. Now if we just wind her in. Should be it. Ready to go pick the Kingswood back up. Alright, so that's done for now. I do plan on putting a box around it later, but this is good enough to go pick up the Kingswood. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, comment, go on our website, check out our merch, or buy a turbo. Cheers.